$4.99. All flowering baskets, buy one, get a second one just like it for half price. Now these are special prices all week Valentine's week. And don't forget the Camellia Show Spectacular, better than ever this year at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, daily till 4, Saturdays till 2, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. You know, I've been playing love songs as bumper music this morning, but I cannot do it for this segment because this segment will not only be broadcast, but it'll also be podcast. And let me tell you something: you cannot use copyrighted stuff on the podcast. They will stop it, Robin. It won't be on the YouTube. It won't be on what's the other stuff we do? All those things we do. Apple Podcasts, right? They don't allow that. So anyway, hey, we have something romantic. Nevertheless, it is a cruise. Have you ever gone on a cruise?
I never have.
I have not gone on a cruise ever. Galen is going on a cruise in less than a month, right?
Yeah, he's been on 6 so far.
Oh my gosh. Okay, David Yeskel is on the phone. He's known as the cruise guru, a travel expert, a travel journalist, a contributor to Las Vegas Magazine, and so many more. He's going to talk to you about preventing your dream cruise from becoming a nightmare. Oh my gosh. That would be so bad if the very first one I ever did didn't work out. David Yeskel, good morning. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Good morning. Great to be here. Thanks.
Where are you right now?
Right now, I'm actually in a hotel room in Las Vegas.
Are you really?
Nice.
Yeah.
You can't have a cruise in Las Vegas. There's no water.
No,
there.
you can't do that. But I also cover Las Vegas, so maybe we can talk about that another time.
Do you know what?
He's also known as the Vegas guru.
Are you really?
That's right.
Okay, one of my bucket list things is to see the Beatles Cirque du Soleil thing out in Vegas. Is that still there?
The Beatles Love is great. As a matter of fact, it was just redone about a year ago.
Really?
All new costumes. They spent a lot of money on it. So it's a completely different show. And now it was always very good. Now I think it's actually one of Cirque du Soleil's top 3 shows on the Vegas Strip.
Oh my gosh! So I don't want to. I don't want that to go away and then say, "Gosh, I wish I had gone." So I got to do that. So
it's great. Yeah, you should.
So how can a cruise? We have a lot of cruises that leave Florida. This is a big area, I guess. Is the idea that it becomes a nightmare the fault of ourselves? Like, do we cause those problems? I know sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's a fire on board or something, but that's only makes the news, right? I'm guessing most of them go off well, right?
Right. Most of them go off very well. So it's largely the problems are largely due to people not taking care of themselves, really. So this notion that there's norovirus all over the cruise industry really isn't true. It's actually rare. And so there was a statistic last year, less than 1% of all norovirus outbreaks that were reported to the CDC came from cruise ships. So they're very rare on ships, but when they do happen, they get lots of media attention, of course. We all hear about it.
Right.
But people can just take reasonable precautions, wash their hands often, make liberal use of the sanitizer stations aboard. There's sanitizer stations at the entrance to every food service area. And people should use those and make sure their kids use those. That's the other key thing. When their kids go in and out of the kids club to use those, I even carry a little pocket-sized bottle of sanitizer that I use, like when I'm in the dining room after handling the menus or the utensils at the buffet. So I take the extra step that way. And if you're just careful about that, you can ward off, if other people have colds, it doesn't have to be norovirus.
Right.
Spend a lot of money and precious vacation time on a cruise. You don't want to ruin it by getting sick, and if you take precautions, you can do that.
That makes sense to me. I mean, I go to a restaurant, they have a salt shaker. I go and get the packaged salt because somebody else touched that salt shaker, right?
For sure.
Right. Yeah, sure. That's right.
Yeah. So little things like that. So is that the main thing that causes it to become a nightmare, or are there other things we can do?
Yeah, there are other things you can do, so other people worry about seasickness, and this also doesn't happen that often. The modern ships, they deploy these stabilizers to keep the ride nice and smooth. Some people wear this just as a prophylactic measure, this patch behind their ear. It's called this transdermal scope patch. But that provides side effects. So you get dry mouth. Some people get blurry vision or sleepiness. So people that weren't going to get seasick anyway are making themselves sick with the prophylactic remedy, right?
Really?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
So
they're walking.
get that.
So don't get it. And my advice is, and this is what I've learned on being on many cruises, and it sounds kind of counterintuitive, is keeping your stomach full is actually the best defense against seasickness.
Oh, I can handle that.
So, yeah, right, exactly. That's not a problem on a cruise ship.
I can do that one.
You can do that. That's not a problem on a cruise ship. And so I was once on a hurricane on a ship, and I noticed just before meals I was starting to feel a little bit off. And as soon as I ate, I felt better. And so this is a proven remedy. Actually.
Really? Now I heard.
Tell
me if this is a wives' tale, whatever they say. Ginger, the I don't know what is ginger.
Yeah. Take some ginger tea or just bite on ginger. That's it's a remedy that people believe works. There's no scientific proof it does.
Oh, okay. You've never tried it?
I've never tried it because I go by the keeping my stomach full maxim.
I like that one.
Works for
that's
me.
That's a good one. I can handle that one.
Right.
How do you get people to open up? Because some people are normally talkative and they like to meet new people and everything, and other people are shy and want to stick to themselves. But with seating arrangements and stuff, you're constantly put in with people that you don't know.
Sure, yeah, you are. So, these days on cruise ships, you have your choice for dinner. You can either have what's called the traditional seating, which is same table every night with the same people, the same waiter, or do as you wish dining, they call it, or sometimes on some lines they call it personal choice. And you go anytime to a section of the dining room, they sit you with somebody or not. You can request a table by yourselves or sit with other people. So you have that choice. If you want to put yourself out there and be social, you can certainly do that, and I like that option because you meet somebody one night, maybe you're dining with them, you don't click, you can try something else the next night. You can sit by yourselves or try a larger table. So there are a lot more options now that are safer than in the old days of cruising where you were stuck with the same people at the same table every night. So you can be as social as you want to be, basically.
Can I have a question about the themed cruises? Every once in a while we'll get an ad for like a bebop or something, bebop cruise.
Right.
That might seem fun for a little while, but I can't imagine 7 days listening to bebop.
Right. You have to when it's a themed cruise, you have to make sure that you're really into the theme before you book that one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But I guess they fill up because I always get these same ads.
They do. I was actually just on a country music themed cruise. I wasn't in the group. There was a large group on board, and it was called the Country Booze Cruise. So that was pretty funny, actually.
Did you get a cowboy hat?
Didn't get a cowboy hat. I was just kind of a neutral observer on the outside watching it all.
Oh, really?
But these people were very, very into it, and they loved it, and it was a great experience for them. So there's a niche for everybody really in the cruise industry.
Well, now to get people prepared for what is going on when the ship docks at different ports, should you find that out before you get on the cruise ship, as opposed to saying, okay, now what am I going to do?
Yeah, it's a great idea to do your research before you get to the ports because, first of all, you might not need to buy a shore excursion through the ship, especially in some of the Caribbean ports. So, the cruises from Florida, of course, are sailing to the Caribbean. And in a lot of these ports, the beach is the thing to do. You want to go to a great beach.
Oh, that sounds awesome, yeah.
Right, and you can do that on your own if you do a little research beforehand. You find out which beach is the best beach to go to, and you just get off the ship. Some are even walkable from the port. Others, you take a short taxi ride. So instead of having to buy an expensive shore excursion to go to the beach with a group from the ship, people can do it on their own, especially in ports in the Caribbean. So, yes, I absolutely think you should do your research before you get to these ports. And, of course, if you're in a place like, say, sailing the Baltic. I was sailing the Baltic last summer. That you need to, either book a tour through. It's harder to do it on your own. But you can still do research and see what sites you want to see and make sure that you cover, your checklist, essentially.
Since today's Valentine's Day, a lot of people will say, we had a segment this morning where this comes from, the most romantic movies. Titanic comes up. Do people try to do that thing on the front of the boat like they do in the movie, or can you do that?
Yeah, you usually can't get out that far forward, but yes, people talk about it. Some people try to get out there. There even on a lot of modern ships, there isn't a spot exactly like that. Of course, that was a very old ship, but yeah, people talk about it and try to do it, but you really can't get out to that. Typically to that part of the forward deck.
And how do you know that when you're on these cruises, that they book family cruises and have activities for children, that your child is safe if they're not with you?
Yeah, so they take very good care of kids. So the kids clubs all have counselors, and they're age tiered clubs. So there's one club for 3 to 5 years old. Another from 5 to 8 years old. Parents go the first day. You bring your kid in. You meet the counselors. They meet your child, and you check them in and out with a password, with your key, and so they keep them very safe and involved, and the kids have a great time in the kids clubs, and consequently the parents have a great time too, because they get some free time and it's actually a vacation for them.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to do this. David, do you have a website you want to leave us with?
Yeah, sure do. My website is oceancruise.guru, or people can follow me on Twitter. That's even better, where I'm the Cruise Guru. So just search the Cruise Guru on Twitter. Every day I tweet out, great deals, great meals I've had, what's coming up in the industry, things I've found aboard ships, great dishes that I've eaten. So I'm the Cruise Guru on Twitter.
Oh my gosh, I'll do that before we end the show today. David, thank you for being on with us today. That was a fun segment.
Thanks very much. I enjoyed it too.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages.